Yeah. I left the shop to my wife a sec. Yamamoto. My FD? Yeah, it's there. Rikako's been tinkering with it, seeing as she's graduated from L-types. She moved on to rotaries now. Can you believe that? I haven't seen Kitami around. Yeah, those were the days, huh? Chasing that Z. We've been acting like fools. No, I'm not calling you old. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Devil Z and the Blackbird, huh? I guess they're a pair of legends hitting the history books now.
One of them is still out there, Ohta-san. I guess Tominaga didn't tell you.
Oh? Shima-san. It's been so long, man.
Just 2 years passed after I scrapped that old turbo.
Takagi mentioned that was scrapped before after you raced Agishima, right?
Yes, it is.
So you must be referring to the Devil Z, huh?
That Z is no longer a devil. It's already considered Akio Z.
But if that's the case, how can the Blackbird be back if you've already scrapped the car?
I revived it.
Oh?
If the car itself is dubbed the Blackbird, then any black turbo can be called such. That's merely its body, and the driver is the one who has its wings. So if I'm back, it means the Blackbird lives.
The RuF CTR is a returning rear-engine rear-wheel drive machine in Wangan Midnight Maximum Tune. By the surface alone, it's basically a Porsche 911 with a 930 chassis. RuF was a tuning company specializing in Porsches at the hands of Alwai RuF Jr. after inheriting the company from his father, where Alwai Jr. began in Porsche specializations at that moment. In the series, its predecessor was Gembala, a pure Porsche tuner in Germany, as opposed to RuF, which was half tuner and half manufacturer in its early years. Soon, Gembala became a Japan-only exclusive Porsche tuner outside of Europe and was featured in the Genki Racing series for their simulator debut, one being in Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 for the PlayStation 2, and the other at the arcade versions of Wangan Midnight Maximum Tune 1-3, with the third installment only available to the Japanese market's players. Seeing as Namco is changing their terms to give access to the international market for Maximum Tune 4, this also holds true for the Porsche licensing. RuF, being more open to the international market, became the successor for Namco's Porsche lineup in WMMT. To be specific, the RuF CTR is the original Porsche 911 used by Tatsuya Shima, also known around the series as Blackbird, named after the stealth SR-71 jet fighter. Shima debuted in the series' current timeline with the 930 Turbo when he first encountered Akio in the Z31. As the series progresses, however, Shima switched to the newer 964 chassis turbo. There was no change needed as both cars shared the same body with only a few aesthetic changes for Maximum Tune 4. In the home version of Wangan Midnight, however, the same cars were used for Tatsuya Shima, to be specific, the RCT and the CTR, which are basically the 964 and the 930 chassis respectively.
So you're starting off with a new turbo? The same kind?
Yes, Kitami already did up the engine.
How far is it taking you?
The same HP he used to work on.
700, huh? Knowing Kitami, it must be a well-balanced tune.
Yes, it is. I've been impressed by Kitami's tuning ever since.
Oh? So Kitami's still around? That's surprising. I heard from Mikako that he's no longer touching L-types.
That seems to be the latest news about Kitami.
No wonder he's so focused on your turbo, huh? I guess it's the perfect car for you.
Not really. There's something that the Z has which my turbo doesn't.
Oh? What might that be?
It's the front.
The RuF CTR, also known as the 911 Turbo, as stated earlier, is the Blackbird's true car, not the 350Z Fairlady. During the late 80s, it was the leading sports car of the Europeans and was on a class of its own, hiring itself to Ferrari. It's a rear-wheel drive sports car driven by a 3.3-liter turbocharged flat-6 boxer engine. During its early years, it was the first of its generation to top out at 340 km per hour with just 470 horsepower tuned by RuF. It became the benchmark for supercars of the newer generation that followed. The body is also lightweight, marking around 1,150 kilos with a 0 to 60 mark of 3.7 seconds. The dev team used these traits as benchmark for recreating the physics of the CTR to an extent. It's great on a straight road and is stable at high speeds, as to name a few of its top traits. But with this extensively improved generation of sports cars, the CTR came out as a totally inferior machine on the aspects of balance. With that as a starting point, let us consider the strengths and weaknesses of the CTR in-game. The CTR has one of the highest top speeds in the game, clocking in at 351 km per hour. Though it's minuscule in a sense, on most areas, given majority of the A-class machines top at 350. In routes like the Wangan line, that 1 km difference for a few seconds would gradually help in giving a better overall time. The body's lightweight, which in turn gives great pickup acceleration at the higher RPMs. The body is compact and is good for going through narrow areas such as in between barriers and trucks. Tatsuya in the series had been comparing the 911 with the FD in most cases, which holds true. This trait for the game recreates most of the FD's benefits with the right conditions in mind. The car is great for high-speed courses, where for a fact that its understeer, which in most cases is a liability, is one of the CTR's greatest weapons of speed. As stated by AJ Kamiya, the CTR has a small wheelbase like that of the Lancer Evolution, which gives great body distribution during cornering on most flat and downhill surfaces. For the weaknesses, however, the game can hold up to double the power of the original CTR, so in turn, the only way in counteracting its gust of power is by expanding the gears to lessen wheel spin. For the CTR, however, you may expect to hit Gear 3 more often than not as compared to the other 5-gear cars that only need you to hit Gear 4. This holds true in a lot of mid-speed corners. The CTR is rear heavy, so this causes an unnecessary lift at the front wheels, which induces major understeer. Although it is a necessity for high-speed areas, this becomes the double-edged blade of the CTR at tracks such as Hakone or the C1 Yasu area. Since it is lightweight, the car is easy to push off its lane. The boost of the CTR is but average. When far off behind, it doesn't pick up as quickly as like that of the R34 GTR, the Corvettes, or even the Camaros. Its Gear 4 is its weakest gear. The setting is so wide and it's where its acceleration drops gradually. In most cases, you're better off hitting Gear 3 than quickly hitting 5 once you've gone halfway through 4. Pairing the CTR and the FD at a few of our runs, we've seen the CTR either requiring to enter the corner earlier than the FD at the corner's exit. As in that area, it gradually understeers and more often than not hits the outer wall as compared to the RX-7.
Takagi-san showed me that fact when he weight reduced the old 911.
Was this new turbo of yours also weight reduced?
Yes, but just until 1200 kilograms. Before it was under 1000.
If the ballast was closer to the center, you would have won that race against Z and Kijima, right?
It could go either way. The Z defied something that figures couldn't interpret.
Do you still insist on hoping that the Z chose you?
Not anymore. The Z made its choice already.
Yeah. Any car would just let anyone drive itself, but that Z is different.
Say, Ohta-san, would you mind trying out my car?
Whoa. Why do you propose that all of a sudden?
You've seen the Z before, right? Can you please check if this is as worthy as the Z, or even better?
Most of the CTR's aero kits in-game are derived from the more updated Porsche variants due to their body compatibilities, mainly the 964 and the 993. They get close as they can to the genuine body kits as possible, as opposed to other models like the Evo 6 posing as an Alfa Romeo, or the Impreza posing as an Audi R8, as to name a few, not to mention a few GTR models. Majority of the higher aero kits of the CTR are originally made by Rauh Welt Begriff, a specialized Porsche tuning garage. Aero D is inspired by this and is BLACKBIRD's aero kit with a few hits and twists, mainly the fog lamps. BLACKBIRD's rims are based off SSR or BBS LM rims with a gold finish. The closest in-game are the Racer rings, though only available in silver. Aero A is based off the Porsche 964 and 993 chassis. Combining Aero B and the wing by car type, you get BLACKBIRD's second aero kit. Certain dress-up stickers differ compared to other models, is one of the unique features of the RuF cars, DCTRs included. The generic aero mirrors in some models, mainly the Evo 8 and the 9 series, tantamount to the CTR stock mirrors. Switching to aero mirrors equip similar aero mirrors like that of C West Motorsports. For those interested in recreating BLACKBIRD for their own, he had a total of 4 different types of tunes throughout the main series. First off being the stock aero kit and wing that debuted in the first half of Return of the Devil Sea. For the second kit, it's the full Aero A body kit in the middle of the Ishida arc of Return of the Devil Sea. Aero B coupled with the wing by car type for the final race of the perfect GTR arc in the manga. Then his main aero kit D, right until the series finale, which debuted on the Asakasa Strait in-game, or the finale of the Monster Super arc in the anime/manga.
I'm surprised that Kitami went through all that trouble to recreate their turbo like before, down to the gearbox settings. I'm really impressed. He outdid Ueda in his own game.
All that's missing is the Rauh Welt aero kit Takagi-san ordered.
But Shima-san, I have one question. Are you really sure you're up to returning as the BLACKBIRD?
It's like what I told Takagi-san when Kei was with us. No one is faster than the BLACKBIRD.
Glad to hear that. Be sure to say hi to Kitami for me. We're refinalizing the settings for the Z's F1 turbine.
Akio, I never thought we'd actually face each other again after I returned from Germany. Hearing that you're still racing, I've never been so excited to race again. Prepare yourself, Akio. The BLACKBIRD is here. Hey guys, what's up? Yogi Warrior 34 here. Thank you very much for watching this video of the CTR review. If you want any car request to be reviewed, just post your request in the comments below. And I have here with my friend Kazuo Ohta. I'm just kidding, it's DMN Solstice. For the Team MRS, if you're local to the Philippines, visit RC or Rita if you want to have a great battle versus this team. Yeah, and he's been a great actor. Well, if you can make his voice today, where he can definitely get all that. Sorry for having a girl's voice, man. I'm sorry. Anyway, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And once again, if you have any requests, just post it in the comments. And this is Yogi Warrior 34 and Solstice. See you guys soon.